I'm attorney Martin Nicholson from the Law Office of Martin Nicholson, also known as the Battery Man for my focus on criminal battery cases. I'm here for day 6 of the Jonathan Majors jury trial. It is explosive action today. The cross-examination continued. Jonathan Majors' attorney had the witness on the witness stand for around 7 hours, cross-examining her very hard. Now, this is delicate because the witness broke down and cried repeatedly. She just kept crying and crying, said she was going to be sick when the defense attorney tried to have her watch the video. Now, it's sometimes hard to tell how that will play out because jurors could look at it and think that she's getting beat up. You have to handle cross-examination of someone that is a victim or claiming that they're a victim very delicate because jurors can turn on you if they think that you're beating that witness up. Now, in this particular instance, at least one juror looked at the defense attorney and kind of nodded and said, "Mouth, that's right." So it looked like she may have one juror at least on her side. But the prosecution objected multiple dozens of times, and the court was sustaining those objections, saying that they were not allowed to ask certain questions and they weren't specific enough or they weren't relevant. The objections that the prosecutors was doing could be a double-edged sword because the jurors could think, hey, you're not being fair, you keep objecting and keeping evidence out that we want to hear, so it's not fair. On the other side, it could hurt the defense because they could think that, hey, you're not playing by the rules and the judge has to keep putting you in check because you're trying to cheat. So that's kind of the fine line of all these objections. Now, some of the testimony that came out was the video of Jabbari laying on the floor in this checkered blanket, just a mess. And she kept saying that she did not want to watch this video. I don't want to watch this video. It's going to make me sick. I'm going to be sick. And she's crying when she's saying all this. So is it true what's really going to make her sick watching this video? Or is it because the video may have contradicted some of the things that she claimed and it would make her look bad? Man, I hope when this jury's over with that some of the jurors come out and talk about what they were thinking. Because I'm interested to know, what are these jurors thinking when they're seeing her crying? Are they buying that these are real tears? Is she really afraid and scared? Or are they, acting? This is something that you often see in cases like this where the alleged victim will cry. And sometimes they look like they're fake tears because there's no tears. Or sometimes jurors can get desensitized to all this crying and not really take it serious, even though it could be very serious. Now, one of the things that Jabbari said on the police body-worn camera when they played that was that she's going to be sick in the sheets, which is disgusting. That was her words. I'm going to be sick in the sheets, which is disgusting. So it's almost like she's admitting that she was intoxicated. And I think that is the strategy that the defense is trying to say, that this woman was intoxicated. I'm going to be sick in the sheets, which is disgusting. And also part of this video surveillance, which is separate from the police body cam, as we know, you see her going to this club called Lucy's, where she went with these strangers that she said she felt comfortable with and safe with to hang out. These are people that she didn't know, and now she's hanging out with them to have a good time. On cross-examination, she was asked some questions about dancing with these strangers. And she said she was dancing, but she wasn't dancing very well, especially for someone that's supposed to be a professional dancer. Is that because she was intoxicated and maybe that's why she wasn't dancing that well? There's no allegation that her legs were injured in this assault. I mean, she's claiming that she was attacked by this big guy that picked her up and manhandled her and hit her in the head, right? And broke her finger. But in the video, you see her picking up a glass of champagne, drinking, putting a cigarette in her mouth, and also, fidgeting around with her purse. All things that you would think that someone with maybe a broken finger would show some kind of pain or they would not be moving them as well. Once again, she relies on her high pain tolerance. Her high pain tolerance. And she claims that she just was trying to focus that out and have a good time. Matter of fact, what she said her focus was her heart. Her quote was, "I was only thinking about my heart." So was this a case of a broken heart? Was it more painful than her broken finger and busted head? Was her broken heart? I tried a case similar to that, where I said in the opening, because my client just wanted to be friends. So I told him, I said, the only thing broken was his heart. That was the only thing broken. The only thing injured, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Now, as the trial progressed, evidence came out that is exactly what it was about. He was upset that my client would not be his boyfriend. And because of that, he made up a story that my client kicked him. He got mad and he said, well, I'm just going to make this guy get in trouble by saying he battered me. So that's almost what it seems here, is that her heart was broken. Now, obviously, we know that there was a finger broke. She did have some injuries. In my case, the person didn't have any visible injuries. But she's talking about being at the club, and the only focus she had and the only concern she had was her heart. This seems strange to me, that she's only thinking about her heart when her body is injured. But that's what she told the prosecutor. She also disagreed about being seen in the club with champagne in one hand and a cigarette in the other. But the video was shown to her on cross-examination, and she had to admit that, well, yes, it does show me with the cigarette and champagne. Now, another part was her head hit by this DJ roof. Apparently, the video shows her head being hit. And is it possible that left a mark? She says no. But the defense points to, look, she hit her head on this roof. That's something that is likely to leave a cut if you hit your head, on the corner of a door or a table or something like that. Not really if someone is pounding you with their fist, that's not necessarily going to make a huge cut. It can, obviously, but if he's just hitting her one time on the palm of his hand, unless there's a ring there or something, that the experts are going to come out and say that cut is kind of like the mark of a ring or a knuckle. It may be a little bit difficult to show that mark really came from someone hitting her. Maybe it came from this roof, part of this DJ booth. Also, another thing that was interesting is apparently bumps into a wall. Bumping into this wall, is that another indication of her being intoxicated? Now, she says that she did not bump into the wall. She just brushed up against it or brushed past it. So once again, I think Jonathan Major's attorney is building up this theory, this argument that Jabbari is intoxicated, that she went out and got drunk, fell down, whatever, bumped her head, and doesn't know how she got these injuries, which mimics what happens when sometimes people drink too much. They can't remember what happened. They forget things. So it's really looking like the evidence is showing that there's something wrong with this story, that these injuries may have not been caused by Jonathan Majors. Now let's talk about her getting in the car. The defense showed the video to her, and it shows him picking her up and putting her in the car. It doesn't sound like it was him throwing her in the car. We're going to hear the testimony of the cab driver to find out what he has to say about this incident and to see if it matches what the video shows. Because we know he said that Jonathan Major supposedly threw her in the car like a football, but yeah, she was acting like a psycho. Okay, well, no talk about Jonathan Majors actually hitting her. Another thing she mentioned on cross-examination, when she watched the video of when the medics came in, she said when she woke up that she felt like she got hit by a bus. Hit by a bus. Now, that is another symptom of someone that may be intoxicated, because you can wake up in the morning and your whole entire body's aching like you got hit by a bus. So I don't know why it would feel like you got hit by a bus, because there's no allegation that I'm aware of where she's saying that Jonathan Majors was like hitting her all across her body. But this is what she's saying she felt like. She also said that when she woke up, she didn't really remember how she got these injuries. So is it a situation where she's kind of filling in the gaps because she doesn't really remember, because she got drunk and, fell down, bumped her head, at the club? This was a very brutal cross-examination, 7+ hour long cross-examination, and even more because you add in yesterday's cross-examination and tomorrow's cross-examination on Friday. Grace Jabbari is supposed to testify again tomorrow because she's not finished with her cross-examination. But once she finishes, maybe Friday, with cross-examination, the prosecution will get an opportunity to do what's called redirect examination. And they will have the opportunity to ask her questions again. And then the defense will have a chance to ask her questions again, called recross. And they can do that multiple times. So her testimony may not be finished until next week, not tomorrow. And then whenever her testimony is done, the prosecutor said he has a dozen more witnesses, at least a dozen more witnesses. Who knows what they're going to say, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people that actually witnessed this incident. They witnessed maybe the after effects of like her being in the club and when the police came to the house, but they didn't actually witness Jonathan Majors doing this unless the cab driver is going to say that happened. This was brutal, and the prosecution case has holes in it. Are they going to be able to fill those holes? They got some work to do. I really believe that they have work to do to fill in those holes. But like I said, they will have that opportunity to do redirect to try to fill those in, and then they're going to call in a dozen more witnesses. So there's a lot more left in this trial. Right now, their case does not appear as strong as they indicated in their opening statement. Now, this is your Nicholson Nugget of the Day. Please remember to like and subscribe. And I appreciate everybody that has liked, subscribed, and viewed these videos. Thank you so very much.